Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Almost 500 billion. Currently my lucky number 444, 444 bill. Really, like I said, I stopped making the predictions because it's just kind of silly. But speaking of predictions, talk about a few things and the outcomes if they happen. So Bitcoin's chilling $16,500. The CME got drop kicked, actually broke down. Cryptocurrencies are absolutely way popular. And what's happening right now is you're starting to see all the new money come in. Litecoin going up. People buy the coins they can afford. They go to buy Bitcoin. They see it's way out of their price range. They see Ethereum. They don't quite know what the fuck Ethereum is. That's the feedback I get. People know what Bitcoin is. Like, they can understand, okay, it's like a form of money, right? And Litecoin, it's kind of funny because the new people, they think Litecoin is easier. Like, they just assume it's money. Like, there wasn't any discrepancy there. There wasn't any people. It's like, well, what does Litecoin do? Like, they think of like, oh, well, Litecoin is just like another Bitcoin, right? But faster. That's the thing that people get from Litecoin. But Ethereum, people have no idea. So they're like, wait, okay, so what is Ethereum? And then you try to break it down for them. And they're like, oh, okay, so it's harder for them to explain. It's a platform where you build apps. It's just a different path, you know. Bitcoin could do that. They need to enable the opcodes, something Bitcoin Cash is doing. But, you know, Bitcoin is definitely capable of that. But Bitcoin kind of went the route of just trying to take the whole store value, $7 trillion market, talking about gold, add the Lightning Network, soak up some of that monetary value as well. So, talking about Bitcoin, I'm looking at, so the price is really high. And that's a good thing, no matter what. Even if you're in different alts, it doesn't matter because Bitcoin's like a battering ram. Think of Bitcoin as this big-ass battering ram. And it's going to clear a big way for the alts. That's all Bitcoin does. Bitcoin is a battering ram, and it'll keep battering up, you know, and it'll keep going up a little bit by little bit, you know, 10%, 20%, you know, 30% is really ridiculous for Bitcoin if we're talking daily. You know, when it does bust out and it goes on its bull run, you're seeing 20%. It moves mountains, though. When it moves up, it moves mountains. It moves everything. Altcoins are different. You got to look at, this is how I look at it. I make visualizations because it's easier for me. If you think of Bitcoin, if you look at my mouse, it's just this battering ram. And this is everything I'm hitting right here. Every time you see me stop, it's like I'm breaking walls. I'm pushing barriers back, right? This is the barrier to entry for crypto. At first, it was very, you know, it was down here. Nobody fucking knew about it. And then it just kept battering. And you see what happens. It hits, and then it'll drop in price, and then it'll go further. Hits, drop back. That's the resistance. It's, you know, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's there. So you think of it as like, boom. And now we're way up here. And what happens for the alts? They don't have to go through all that bullshit. They don't have to go as, what's a cryptocurrency? What is this digital funny money? No, once Bitcoin's taken seriously, it's amazing how long it took for everybody, including me, to realize what Bitcoin was. However, it took me a few hours to realize what Ethereum was after Bitcoin. And I learned of Litecoin. Then I learned of altcoins. That's what I'm saying. That's the barrier that Bitcoin broke. Once you learn Bitcoin, then it's like you don't have to spend 8 years learning what Litecoin is. You get it. Once you get Bitcoin, you get everything else mostly. And then you might not get the technological behind it, but you start to understand what an altcoin is, and you understand that, you know, the world's becoming tokenized. That it's not just about it's not 1,000 different Bitcoins. You know, something like, Syscoin is completely different than Bitcoin. You have things that serve completely different purposes that aren't, everything's of value. Everything could be used as money. Back in the day, everything could be used as money. You can barter, chickens for wheat, whatever. Like, this is the tokenization. You might not use Syscoin as like to buy coffee in your everyday thing, but if you want to use their platform, depending on how big their platform gets, That's how much it's going to be worth. And that's how much you're going to have to pay because, you know, you can say, well, eBay's this big. And if eBay had a capped amount, meaning space on the eBay platform that you had to buy via tokens, and they said there's a capped amount, there's only 100 million eBay tokens, how much would those be worth with the eBay market cap right now? They'd be worth a lot of money. It's the same thing. That's what people are betting on. That's what Bitcoin does. So one of the things just the mindset, guys. Doesn't matter what you're in now. People keep thinking, oh, I could have got 3x this or this. Like, that's always going to happen. Always, no matter what. You're going to fail over and over and over again if you look at it that way. You're never going to time the market right. And you know what's funny? It looks so easy, but then right when you go to time the market, splat right on your fucking face and you fuck up and you miss out on big games. Almost every time. It's almost inevitable because that's human nature. These things pop off because there's news behind the scenes that you don't know. So what I'm about to say now might shock a few people, but Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million, in my opinion. Obviously, in my opinion. I think Bitcoin's worth $1 million. People are like, oh my God, I got to sell everything. $1 million Bitcoin. That's all I need, right? Well, let's break that down. Let's assume the price is $20,000 for math's sake, right? Well, we can assume the price is 20K on Bitcoin, right? Yeah. So that's only a 50x, guys. Let that sink in. Bitcoin hit $1 million. That's only a 50x. That's good money. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you want to talk about one of my worst and you want my best and worst. All right. So think of it this way. At one point I got No Limit Coin and it 1000x. And now at its lowest BTC value, I'm still at 100x. And that bitch is ready to just go parabolic in my opinion. But that's just a rough example. So a lot of people, the funny thing is Bitcoin's going to hit $1 million and a lot of people aren't going to be millionaires. Because a lot of people trading, trying to do this and that, jumping out, missing out on gains. And they don't realize that Bitcoin's almost $20,000. If it hits 1 million, that's a 50x. There's a lot of people who can buy whatever they can afford in Bitcoin right now in 50x and that not even be six figures. So it's just the mindset. Bitcoin is really, in my opinion, a rich man's game when you're talking about where to put your money. It's more secure, right? You're going to get the steady gains. But if you could pick the altcoins right, that's where the money's at. Think about this. If Bitcoin hit 1 million, that means crypto is mass adopted. It's worldwide. Everyone uses it. It's acceptable. So that means the world's become tokenized. If we have $1 million Bitcoin, if we've had that kind of support, that means Bitcoin's taken over gold. A lot of things have happened at that point. Then your respective coins in their industry are going to have, they're not going to have growing pains. Bitcoin has just broke everything to high hell. There's no gap. There's no resistance. You can just hop 100% a day in la la land at that point, no matter where you are in altcoins. So let's say you have an industry that's, so many billions a year. Let's say you have a 50 billion annual industry in the fiat world, and then you make a token for it, and you cap that and so many tokens. So if you have 50 billion, you have so many tokens. Each token is going to be worth a lot more money. When you start to really do the math on some of these tokens, okay, what would No Limit Coin be? So let's say football, just all the sports. Let's just say a silly, low, underestimated number. Let's say the worldwide fiat fantasy sports world. Let's say it was 20 billion total, everything, totos together, 20 billion. Let's say No Limit Coin could get maybe a $1 to $2 billion market cap. Just do the math on that. It's far. It's just, that's what I see, like, especially with Syscoin, if it was to encapsulate eBay's. But then you got to think, we're thinking too small. Because people are thinking, oh, well, we might get a little bit. Crypto's not here to fucking compete. Crypto's here to fucking dominate. Fiat is dust. So if you're first in a tokenized world, why are we comparing this? Why are we comparing the fiat numbers? You would think there's going to be more users because more people have entry and access from poor countries that couldn't before. You're revolutionizing the world. You're bringing it together. Lower fees, easier to get in, easier to use, better, more secure. Why are we comparing it to the fiat world? those numbers are dust. Those are little bars that we're going to absolutely slam dunk, right? Like, something like no limit coin could easily get a $5 billion market cap when Bitcoin hits 1 million. I know those numbers seem crazy because everyone lives in the now. I never lived in the now. I only come back to the now to meditate. I'm always, these numbers if you saw the numbers I saw, your head would explode. And I've seen them from the beginning once I understood Bitcoin and what was going to happen. The fiat system is dying very, very quickly. People really, it's funny. Everyone wants to put like, okay, there's probably this much fiat out in the world. We don't know. No one knows. And you don't know how many good counterfeits that have been. Like, that's the thing. There's been counterfeits that have been accepted as fiat. And God knows if they've been filtered out or not. Because if not, then they just might because banks are destroying paper all over the world. Governments are trying to go cashless. They're trying to take up all the cash and destroy it and give you digits. So who knows how many counterfeits have slipped by, because counterfeiting $1 in this day and age is easy. I mean, it just is, especially in poorer countries. It's so much easier in poorer countries if you're just comparing to US, where they actually spend a lot of time trying to prevent that. So just really trying to keep things in perspective. Big Ethereum, everyone's expecting. So when am I expecting Bitcoin to be at 1 million? I don't really want to put a time frame because there's no need. This is a monetary shift. This isn't a fad. So it's not like it's just going to be around 10 years. If Bitcoin hits 1 million, that means it's going to be a part of our lives for generations. Like, it's going to go on until some kind of alien money comes in and we move on to that. But fiat gold lasted a long time, and then fiat has lasted a long time. And now it's, as we rapidly move into this digital era, it's only obvious that we have digital gold. I believe Bitcoin, the way they're heading, it's almost like the monetary system anyway. I just believe that the governments, the reason we don't see as much resistance is because I think the governments understand that it's futile, that Fed coin is not going to be adopted. And people also have to understand that there's going to be big industries, like, you can't be too worried about what's going to happen. The governments are going to try to get their slimy little hands on it as much as possible. But people, they also understand it's a check and balance. It's kind of like we've had the pitchforks and the torches in our hands more than we ever had in history. And what does that mean? That means if a government back in the day was starving its people, they would have 1 million people on their doorstep with pitchforks and torches ready to burn their building down and destroy them, because they're not, it's called a rebellion. Well, we can't do that anymore because now they have fucking robots and machine guns and SWAT teams, and they just shoot you. And I mean, it's crazy nowadays. Now we can fight back digitally because now we can hit them where the money hurts, because they understand they can't control this. It's done. They tried to. Cryptographic's been around since the 70s. Like, it's been top secret. The idea of using it as a currency is something different. They were using it as messages and how to send secure messages across governments and all that stuff. But it was never meant public, and then somehow it floated out public. Somebody stole that shit, which obviously, over time, and the genius created Bitcoin. But the government tried to ban it so many times. Like, they understand the power of it. And if you go and actually do your research, you would actually see how afraid of it they really are. But they understand. They're like, oh fuck, it's slipped out. Now it's a time to they can't make Fed coin, because guess what? We can bring our pitchforks and our torches, because that means we won't use their coin. We'll just keep using the public blockchain that everyone likes and uses. The same thing with Bitcoin. That's what I don't get. Like, Bitcoin, if they were to do something bad, we would stop using Bitcoin instantly. Same thing with the Ethereum. Same thing with Bitcoin Cash and any other coin for that matter. It forces honesty. If you want to have a coin succeed, you're going to have to play by the rules. You can't break them, because if you do, no one's forced to use your coin. Not in this digital era. Not anymore. Government can't come take your stuff. Bitcoin's adding anonymous features. It's going to get to the point where, no one's going to be able to. The government's not going to be able to take your stuff. They're not going to know how much you have. What does that happen then? When everyone's like, oh, well, yeah, I didn't make any money this year, and they can't prove it because, how can they tell? They can't see when you sent money. That's going to be a problem, because then they can't force it. They can't kick down your door and just go into your computers. Like, at that point, they're fucked, and they're going to have to be honest. And At that point, we're going to see a radical shift, which is good in my opinion. I mean, any kind of growing pain, any kind of shift it's going to be rough though. So you have to be prepared for it. You just have to be a little tough. Litecoin breaking all-time highs, like, no, it's suspected. People, it's still super cheap. When people go into Coinbase right now, it's funny. People think Koreans can push the price up of things. Think of the United States. U.S. hasn't really. It has been the major contributor. Like, it's been a big powerhouse in crypto, but not like it is now. And we've just touched the tip of the iceberg. So, you know, Litecoin is the most affordable coin on there. It's going to be interesting when they add Bitcoin Cash in January. What's going to happen there? Obviously, people are going to have access to dump if they want for Bitcoin, which very well could happen with how popular Bitcoin is. But also, it's going to bring more awareness to Bitcoin Cash. So always, what I think is, okay, so price predictions, you know, Bitcoin probably $1 million one day. Bitcoin or Ethereum is going to be, in my opinion, I think it could 30x or something, maybe hit $10,000. I think that's a fair price. Ethereum is going to have a lot of competition with EOS, Neo, just you name it. I think, you know, Bitcoin is not going to have as much competition as you think. Litecoin's going to be around just because Litecoin's going to be around. It's been around. It's one of the first early adopters. People are just going to use it. I think Bitcoin's going to become so so expensive that people are going to just keep them in cold storage wallets like gold and just use Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash and, you know, maybe some, you know, Dash, for example, as everyday currencies. I see these hanging around kind of like you just see Dogecoin hanging around. I don't know, like, I'm not sure how expensive Dash is going to be in the future, but people like to have, I don't know, it's kind of like people like to have their custom cases. I don't know, some people like to use their currency they believe in. That's the beautiful thing about, we've never had that choice before. We never had, you know, in America where they say, oh, you can use the yuan, you can use, you know, pesos, rupees, dollars, you pick whatever currency you believe in, right? We've never fucking had that. Now we do. And you're going to have, you know, just like there's not, why isn't there just McDonald's for fast food? Why isn't it? Well, answer me that. Why? I mean, fucking, you go to Burger King, McDonald's, yeah, Burger King flame bros, but you know what I mean. Like Jack in the Box, you go, it's pretty much the fucking same thing. They could be the exact same thing. But people don't care. You can have, I swear, you can have a case study where you have two restaurants that are identical. You make them look different on the outside, name them something different, have different names on the menu, but the exact same food. And people would go to both and people would say, oh, well, this place is better. And other places, oh, no, this is my favorite. Just because, you know, maybe the waitress, maybe the atmosphere, maybe the team, who knows, right? That's what's going to happen with the crypto. So I'm not so worried about Litecoin and all these other, I think people are severely underestimating Bitcoin Cash. I think Bitcoin Cash could easily be $250,000 one day, maybe even 500,000. I don't say that lightly. The SBI group, bigger than Microsoft, guys. $500 billion are backing Bitcoin Cash now. They're going to, Japan, one of the big things, because China and Japan really don't like each other, but Japan has taken, they're all in on Bitcoin Cash. You know, GG Bitcoin in Japan. They're going to, via BTC is launching a Bitcoin only exchange there. My inside guys, you know, I have a lot of fucking information. These people are saying GG Bitcoin in Japan. Bitcoin Cash is going to be used there. I have rumblings in China. They're going to be heavily distribute Bitcoin Cash. Why is that? Why is that? Because Bitcoin mining isn't as prevalent in America. It's all in China. And now it's going to be in Japan because Japan has these super fucking crazy miners coming out. The governments are making too much money off the mining over there. There's no stopping that. That's the incentive. People say, oh, the governments can come down. No, not when it's your golden goose. They're making more off of money. It's projected in the next 5 years, if Bitcoin keeps going on its velocity, that the government, China, that's going to be their predominant income. In most places in China right now where the mining is, that is where all the incomes, that's where everyone's making money because of that. And China's not dumb. They're not going to just, you know, cut off the hand that's feeding them. Especially in these, where else are they getting this kind of money? Think of the economy. Everyone's at war. They have North Korea at their asses. You know, they have United States cutting off trade, not cutting off, threatening to cut off trade if they don't stop with Korea. Like the United States is really, really hard against trade right now. They're not getting any breaks. So why the fuck would China ban mining where they can tax the hell out of it and make a lot of money? Like that. Obviously, this is research. Inside information, but Bitcoin is going to be in the West, in my opinion, because it's Bitcoin's getting away from mining. Let's be honest. Like they're not trying, you know, the Lightning Network is not miner friendly. It's not miner friendly at all. They're trying to go a different route where you're going to have hubs. Anyone can make one, right? And you're going to collect fees. It's a Lightning Network. That's much more friendly to the West if you think about it, because it's just because there's not really. It's like I said, there's always a trust system. If somebody fucks up in Bitcoin, no one's going to use it. Someone fucks up in Ethereum, no one's going to use it. Someone fucks up in Bitcoin Cash, no one's going to use it. Litecoin, etc. So that's why I have confidence. It's if you listen to Satoshi, he's even saying like it's all about what you get out of it. Life is not about trust. It's hard to trust somebody. It really is. But when you know somebody's going to make a lot of money, then that makes it much easier to trust them, right? Because that's just how humans are. They don't fucking bite the hand that feeds them. And that's how Bitcoin is. It's what Bitcoin's set up to be. There's no reason to destroy it. The governments can try, but once they go in and realize, oh man, I could just make a lot more money being here. And what could they really do? Like, it's nothing they could do. They could crash a coin and we just fork and it'd be a new Bitcoin and everyone would just start using that. And they would have lost a lot of money doing that. Whatever they do, it's not easy to crash Bitcoin. If you're talking about a 51% attack or something stupid, billions and billions and billions of dollars, and they still can't stop it. It's unstoppable. The people inside the government are really starting to understand that. So like I said, these prices are nothing. You're going to wake up, and they're just going to keep going up and up and up because there's way too much fiat out there. And you put a cap on it, these numbers just absolutely go insane. And the higher they go, the more it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They keep getting bigger. Getting bigger by proxy makes more people buy because like, oh my God, it's getting bigger. So it's getting bigger because it's getting bigger. You see what I'm saying? It's like a conveyor belt to success. The bigger it gets, the bigger it gets. It's just going to keep getting, it gets big, jumps everywhere on news stations. And now the world this was the absolute, it is amazing. Bitcoin is, and when it go, like I said, what happens? That's what happens. Mass adoption. It happens like that. This could not have been better publicity. Talking about the futures and in Bitcoin, flirting with $20,000. It's on every news station. Everybody's talking about it. It's funny. I don't like name dropping, but you talk about Wealth Daily, Ty Lopez, even AMTV, all of these YouTubers, not hating on them or anything, but if you go to their channel, they all got cryptocurrency classes. They're all, oh, what Bitcoin gonna do? Everyone's talking about Bitcoin now. It doesn't matter who you are. I remember back in the day when something would happen, I say back in the day, just 5-6 months ago, people like, oh my God, CNBC mentioned Bitcoin gas, and everyone upvote it and be real happy. And then I remember people like tweeting at Gary V, when are you going to talk about crypto, bro? And now, he's talking about crypto. You have all these big YouTubers, all these personalities, every news station. So that is amazing. I have a lot of other stuff, but this feels like it's getting long. So I'm going to leak over to tomorrow. See, I'm in the future. Always in the future. Going to be going out. My homeboy, it's not his birthday yet, but I'm going to be hanging out with him today. He has a lot of people say, hey, what do you do with your first $1,000? Hey, you might want to learn some poker. That's what I came up off of. Holler at BFizz11, turbokings.com. You want to check that out. Or he also has a Twitch, gives away a lot of free information. So holler at him. Also want to touch on the VR blockchain combo. I also have some really big insider news on what's happening there. But basically, what's happening with crypto is also going to accelerate VR because the VR, man, these VR apps, I have a very strong feeling are going to go for billions of dollars one day. I really, really have a very strong feeling. Which one is up for grabs? If you remember the .com bubble, they bought up everything. They were buying up everything. And I'm not saying this is a bubble in sense, but I'm saying that we can see the same characteristics because there's a lot of FOMO in big industries about VR because the headsets are rapidly becoming cheaper. There's stuff coming on the market. Pretty soon you're going to have VR contact lenses, VR glasses, and they're going to look just like regular glasses, lightweight, VR is absolutely about to be everywhere. Augmented reality. That's why you really want to keep an eye on things like Vibe. A lot. There's going to be a lot of beware. There's going to be a lot of crap VR coming out next year. Spective VR, Vibe Hub are my top picks. First mover advantages. Deals being made left and right. It's very tingly and exciting to realize what's about to happen when it comes to blockchain and VR and Bitcoin. Bitcoin keeps rapidly growing in value, rapidly expanding altcoins potential, and then easily some big business can come in, billions of dollars, and scoop up these VR things. So really, I am not sleeping on it. VR. If we're talking altcoins, of course, the ones I love. I have a variety. I have sections. I have videos where I talk about why I pick the genres I pick. But I definitely have a VR blockchain genre that I'm big in. It's going to happen really quickly, and you don't know when it's going to happen. People didn't realize what was going to happen with WhatsApp and Instagram. These things just kind of happened overnight, and you just kind of read in the paper next day, $4.8 billion, so fucking Facebook purchases XXX. And it happens very quickly. So just want to keep that up to date. Definitely a good time to be invested in crypto. I know I'm going to end it here. I heard a very good expression, somebody saying, just shaking your face saying, you will win. You have to accept the fact that you are going to win. And I thought that was beautiful, because a lot of people have lost for so long that they forgot how to win, and they actually sabotage themselves from victory. It's not always that hard. You are allowed to win if you're doing the research, if you're in the space, if you realize what the blockchain decentralization is really doing to the world. You're a step ahead a bunch of people. Just a fun time, right? Like, I wouldn't want to invest in the stock market right now. Why would I, right? Unless they're crypto related stocks, which I am in. I'm in a few crypto related stocks, but yeah, I'm gonna go there. Cheers, peace.